Don't get me wrong, Alexander Volkov definitely got robbed against Cyril Gane, but I would argue that that wasn't the worst robbery that happened on Saturday night. That belongs to Aljo. Aljamain Sterling won that fight, and we're going to go through the fight and explain why. There's only one round that's controversial because round one, Aljamain clearly won. 2 minutes, 49 seconds of control time, 55 seconds for Movsar, 2 takedowns for Aljo, 1 takedown for Movsar. The strikes, like, in a fight like this where it was so grappling heavy, I don't want to count, like, 3 significant strikes over 2 significant strikes. And then the total strikes being 12 versus 4. Like, those, you could just collect 8 significant strikes by pitter-patter, like, pitter-patter punches to the body that do nothing. So I'm going to look at, in a largely grappling-dominated round, who had the control time and who had the takedowns and who had submission attempts if it happened. No submission attempts, but Aljo clearly banks this round. Got the better of the grappling. Very impressive. Round 2 clearly goes to Movsar. 3 minutes and 25 seconds of control time. Pose 48 for Sterling. 2 takedowns versus 1. Again, grappling dominated round. Here it says the strikes. Sterling landed 2 more significant strikes. He landed 5 to Movsar's 3. But then Movsar landed 48 total strikes opposed to 25 for Sterling. Total strikes can literally be anything. They're very, like, pitter-patter, not effective damaging work. Like, most of the time, that's how it is. Shout out to Theo Vaughn, who was there for all the early prelims. So round 2 was clearly Movsar's. So we're 1-1 going into the third. And let's take a look at that controversial third round. So for about 24 seconds, they exchange strikes that don't really land on the feet. And Movsar leaps in with this left hook into a spinning back fist. Aljo's falling back into the southpaw stance. That's a lot of Aljo's evasions, is falling back into stance. And then he gets out of the way of the spinning back fist and beautifully level changes underneath for a perfect takedown to get the round started. Aljo is winning it so far. Aljo's controlling this position as Movsar has that headlock. Aljo lets his hands, unlocks his hands to try to fight the grip. Look at the veins that are popping inside of the arm of Movsar, who's definitely not on steroids at all. Look at that guy, he's totally clean. So he tries to peel that grip, but goes back to, I think, eventually locking his hands. But Aljo's goal is to peel that grip, get around to the back, but Movsar's keeping that strong headlock. Movsar now digs in a underhook, and Aljo maybe looks to trip out. I don't know if he was trying to trip with this leg. Can't really tell because of the camera angle, but either way, Movsar can get up with that underhook. They're on the feet now. Aljo looking to duck over to the back. Movsar maybe threatens a little counter throw here with that Uchimata type of thing, but he doesn't have a whizzer. Instead, he's got this front headlock that he's just holding on to. That's what is keeping Sterling off of his back. And you don't often see people just hold that. They prefer to go whizzer, but he obviously is too far gone here to get the whizzer. So he tries to counter throw, but Sterling does a good job. And Sterling's strong. Like, Sterling coming up a division, like in the Cater fight, he looked strong. He looked as big as Cater and was picking him up. Did that, like, WWE-esque move where he slammed him. And I think he tries to pick Movsar up in the same way. I don't know if it's in this round, but Movsar looked bigger than him. Roided out of his mind. But still, Sterling lifts with his hips, picks up. Watch him remove this bottom leg, clear the space for Movsar to land. He lands, throws him right on his head because Movsar has this headlock. And he's like, okay, if you have that headlock, you're not going to post. I'm going to throw you to the side of where that arm is that you're headlocking. Movsar keeps it for a while as he's falling, legs up in the air. And he lands most of the weight on his head. But that gets rid of the headlock. And now Aljo's fully on the back. And he's just a beast here. In the first round, he showed how strong he was here and positionally how he can hold someone in this spot. But jumps that hook in, and he's just, or he didn't jump the hook in. Just puts the knee in front, and it's just riding him. Pause. Movsar looks to pick at Aljo's right leg, but you see Aljo float back, maintaining the control and maintaining good position behind him, not putting himself in a position where he's going to get switched on or counter wrestled, which Movsar is very good at and he's shown that in this fight to this point. So right here, Movsar is working at the grip of Sterling, peeling the body lock. He does it. He goes 2-on-1. Very effective defense here. So Sterling, knowing that he'll lose the position if he stays here, he picks up a single with the free arm, picks up his leg, elevates it. Now Movsar goes whizzer and has the one wrist controlling Aljo's other wrist. And Aljo's goal is to get his hands back locked because he's kind of just using his body weight in the cage to keep them where they're at right now. So Movsar goes for a pitter-patter punch and to grab the wrist back, but Aljo, smart pitter-patter punch, avoids the grip of Movsar. Movsar's looking to re-grip here. So Aljo punches and then gets back to the body lock, which is huge. He lifts the body lock high on Movsar's back. He's in complete control here. We're 2 minutes and 38 left in the round, and this has been all Aljo, completely in control. After a little bit of time spent here, Aljo works his way to the back, making Movsar carry his weight. See how he's like squatted down, and really Movsar has to post on his hand to carry Aljo's weight. This is effective work from Aljo. Setting up his next takedown. Throws a cheeky little knee that I don't think lands. I think Movsar reacts quick enough, but as Movsar gets up, Aljo picks him up again, puts him down, little mat return. All Aljo. 1 minute and 55 left. It's been 3 minutes of Aljo, 3 minutes and 5 seconds of Aljo in complete control. That's more than half of the round. But then Evloev does a beautiful job of rolling underneath on that right shoulder. And does he hold the wrist? Yeah, so this is tricky from Movsar. Movsar's grabbing the left wrist of Sterling as he rolls. Right wrist of Sterling. So Sterling, if he had his right wrist available here, he could just swing it out from underneath Evloev's back and get top position here. But Evloev knows that, so he's rolling with control of the wrist, and then he abandons the control of the wrist when he feels like he can push off and work his way to top position. But still, Aljo gets height, headbutts him a little bit in the transition, not intentional obviously. He gets height, and he tries to jump on top and get the back, but what Evloev does well is get this underhook, and this is what saves him. He gets the underhook, whereas if Sterling would have dug that underhook, that would have been quick and tough to do, but he doesn't get that underhook, and Evloev has it, and he uses it to turn Sterling, and instead of Sterling being on the back of Evloev, he's now on his back. And for the next minute 50, this is where Evloev makes his case to win the round. Close guard for a second. Aljo digs in that left butterfly hook. Right butterfly hook. Elevates Evloev for a little bit and starts the butt scoop back to the fence. Little pitter-pat punches that are exchanged, which it shows up on the stats here. Round 3, 72 total strikes landed for Movsar, only 13 for Evloev. But these are these little like punches right here that are doing absolutely nothing. It's more in these grappling dominant rounds, I feel like the grappling has to be the main priority, because say you're on top, you're dominating, and the guy on bottom is just going like these little punches. That's not scoring. It shouldn't be scoring. Like Movsar, look at this brutal body shot. Oh my goodness, that would give someone a hernia. That has to be. And look at that one. Boom. That's actually not bad. But you get my point. Just very pitter-pat punches. And look at this one. Did that miss? I don't know. Movsar grabs the ankle here. Nice little right hand. See, that's a good strike. That might have counted as a significant strike. But the ones where it's just to the body, like 2 inches of movement, it shouldn't be counted. Movsar gets that Habib leg lace. I know I'm in the way. But Evloev doing some good work here. Sterling grabs the wrist, stops the punch, and turns his back. Sorry. Ooh, what is that? Movsar tries to hop on the back, gets the body lock. Maybe looking to break that grip. Watch, see how Movsar brings his heel and his foot back. Oh, I'm in the way again. I could move myself here. There I go. He brings his heel back and tries to sit his weight on that calf of Sterling to get a little off balance. That's not working. He goes with a nice little foot sweep where he jumps his heel on the right leg of Sterling and sends him reeling backwards. Nice takedown there from Movsar. And this last 30 seconds is kind of just Movsar adding to his pitter-pat strike count. But don't forget, 3 minutes and 10 seconds of this round were controlled by Sterling. The first 3 minutes and 10 seconds. If you would have flipped it, say Movsar had this type of like grappling, not dominance, because it's not like control. If he had this level of control in the first 2 minutes, and then Sterling turned it around and had 3 minutes and 10 seconds of control to end it, Sterling would have won. But it's because it's at the end of the round where it's a really bad visual for the judges. So Movsar's controlling Mosi, gets 2 hooks in. That's solid. But immediately, Aljo escapes. He's still on the bottom. A couple good punches from Movsar. Yeah, I guess Sterling wasn't landing some good punches like that. And just visually, it's not a good look, the end of this round. But I think in a grappling sense, when the round is completely dominated by grappling, you have to look at the 2 most important things for that. Takedowns and control time and submission attempts. In this round, in round 3, Aljo, let me get like a shot of both of them. Aljo, on his knees here, had 2 minutes and 39 seconds of control time, as where Roidhead Movsar, no bias at all, had a minute. Oh, we went wide. That's okay, honestly. A minute and 49 seconds of control time. So Aljo wins that. Aljo had 3 takedowns in this round, and I know takedowns, they count mat returns as takedowns, but 3 takedowns to Movsar's 1. That 1 is kind of garbage. Why am I zooming in? To Movsar's 1. So throughout this 5-minute round, Aljo got the better of the grappling. But it's because in the last 2 minutes, Movsar kind of, like, he controlled the last 2 minutes of the fight, and Aljo controlled the first 3 of the final round. I think more control and more takedowns has to weigh further than, oh, you did it last. I know judges are easily influenced, and you have to be like knowledgeable as a fighter that the last 30 seconds of a round could swing around. Definitely. But I think judges should have more foresight and, like, I don't know, just a more nuanced view of the fight and understand that, okay, he controlled the first 3 minutes, this guy controlled the last 2 minutes, more takedowns, should go to the guy who controlled the grappling through the 5 minutes. I don't know. That's my thoughts. Maybe it's because I think Movsar's on steroids and I like Aljo, and I think Aljo would be an interesting matchup with Topuria. I know that sounds crazy, but Aljo's striking is funky. I'm not going to say it'll be like effective against Topuria, but it'll make him harder to hit, I feel, than a guy like Movsar. Movsar has an endless gas tank, roids, but he's more traditional. And I think Topuria could find him more. But Movsar's on the most roids of all time, so that will help him. But I don't know, I was rooting for Sterling here. I'm clearly biased. I think Aljo won. 2-1 Aljo, rounds 1 and 3. Control time in the third round for the first 3 minutes, but ended the round badly. If you guys have been wanting to see me shoot on this net, yeah, I'm a bucket. In case you didn't know, I'm a bucket. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching. Peace. Don't get me wrong, Alexander Volkov definitely got...